Evening, it's Don Airy here again. A few Maine stories. Before I get started, I got to tell you, I was out driving Uber again all day, most of the day, about 7 hours. I picked up 4 young ladies. They were tonguing, they're just very chatterboxing, and they fit pretty tight inside that Corolla that I have. And they're gabbing, and they actually apologized for being so obnoxious, and they left. They said, sorry for being so obnoxious, but they're cute. But one of the things they said was, they talk about who they're dating, and one says, I'm out of the date, and I would go solo for a while, One says, well, I wouldn't want to date a farmer. And I'm not saying anything, I'm just thinking to myself, well, what makes you think a farmer would want to date you, dearie? But it was just kind of a funny ride. I do have a lot of fun watching over the different personalities, And it made me think of about farmers in general. So I'm going to tell you a few farmer stories, but kind of a start off here is that, do you know why farmers, especially in Maine, why they like their girls to dress up in leather? Because it makes them smell like a brand new Ford pickup truck. It's just nothing sweeter than that. There was one that's a story that is a request from one of my subscribers. And don't forget, that if you got a request of a story that you remember that maybe I've forgotten, just ask me about it. I'd be glad to try to do a rendition of it, because it's got to be a subscriber, so be sure to hit that subscribe button, okay? But there's a story that goes of a fellow up in New York, and this is years ago, and he's driving one of them Mercedes-Benz, and the clock in his Mercedes had quit working. The battery on his cell phone had died. His watch wasn't working, and he wasn't sure what time it was, and he didn't know if he was late for a meeting or early or whatever, He's heading down to town, and he wanted to know, and he saw a farmer that was milking a cow beside the road, sitting on the little three-legged stool. So he rolled the window down, and on the passenger side, he's got a fancy car, electric window, and he says, hey, friend, you tell me what time it is? And the farmer, he hefted up the cow's udder, bent down, looked there, and he says, it's 2:37. The New Yorker was kind of taken aback by that. And he says, are you sure? He did it again. He lifted up the cow's udder and looked under there and squinted. And he says, it's 2:38 now. He says, that's really amazing. He says, would you mind telling me how you can tell time by doing that? The farmer says, sure. He says, come over here and sit on my milk stool. So the New Yorker, he gets out. He's wearing a $1,000 suit, made out of silk and everything. Takes his jacket off. He sits down on the stool. He says, all right, now the farmer says, why don't you thrust your hand in the cow's udder and you take your hand and gather up all 4 of them teats, so get them all put together. Lift up the cow's udder real careful like now. Bend down real careful. Look under there. You get it? Yeah, look under there real careful. And you look across there. You'll see the town clock. Like I say, Mainers are absolutely merciless on the gullible. Yes, sir. Here's another one. There's a farmer, a guy out of town. He's driving along the road again, and he sees kind of an odd sight. He sees a farmer, and the farmer's got a little pig, just a little fella, not a miniature, just maybe it's a young pig. And as he's watching, the farmer is under an apple tree, and he's taking the pig and he holds it up so that the pig can grab an apple in its mouth and pull it off the apple tree, and he sets it down with the pig and the apple in his mouth, and the pig is munching away happily, and he finishes the apple, and so he grabs the pig and holds it up to the apple tree again. The pig grabs another apple and pulls it off the tree, sets it back down, and he's watching him do this. And finally he pulls ahead and he rolls the window down and he says, say there, mister, I've been watching you. He says, it's a fine pig you got there. And he says, oh yeah, me and my pig get along pretty good. And he says, don't you think you'd save a little time if you shook some apples off the tree for the pig, and it wouldn't have to stand there like that? Wouldn't you save some time? Farmer thinks a minute. He says, sure it would. Yeah, but what's time to a pig? Barely get your bait back on that one, didn't you? Yeah. Well, here's another one. He's a traveling salesman, Maine, and he's driving along, and he comes up to a farm family, when they're sitting on the porch, and instead of a dog sitting on the front porch, curled up like you normally would, there's a pig. And what's more unusual is that the pig's got 3 legs. The hind leg is just missing completely. It looks like it was just surgically removed, if you will. Just neat. Looked like it was never there. And says, salesman kind of striking up a conversation in preparation and, trying to sell him something, whatever it was he was selling. He says, it's an unusual kind of pig there you have. And farmer says, oh yeah, it's a very special pig. He says, that pig, several months ago, our house caught on fire. And that pig saw what was happening, and he stove open the pen to the pigsty, and he made such a ruckus on the door, he woke us all up. He saved all of our lives. Golly, I never heard of such a thing. He said, oh, that's quite a heroic pig. Yes, I says, not only that, my young little girl there, she fell into the cow pond, and that pig dove in after her and drug her out and saved my little daughter's life. And he says, wow, that's amazing. That's an amazing pig. He says, if you don't mind telling me how the pig happened to lose the leg. Was he born that way? He says, no. He says, well, how did he lose his leg? He says, well, the farmer says, a pig like that, you don't want to eat all at once. Can't win, he's still a pig. Well, I got just 2 more if you can stand it. Okay, probably your throat's getting dry with this stuff. The Maine humor so dry. Just don't choke. You remember my warning in the Maine stories #1. He says, just be careful, okay? Because you think about this, you might finally think it's funny. All right, just be careful. Another traveling salesman late at night. He's driving along, and all of a sudden, he sees the dark object and going streaking across the road in front of him, and sure enough, he struck a cat, and he's looking both ways, and he can't tell what, well, he looks up the road a bit, and there's a light just kind of up the driveway, and figures it must be that farmer's cat. And the guy has a conscientious, about cats. He's like, well, it's just a cat, but could be somebody's favorite cat. So he trudges up the road to the farmer, and this real gruff guy opens it, says, slams the door open, says, what do you want? And it was kind of surprising. The guy was so gruff, but he says, well, I hit a cat in the road, and thought it might be yours. Really? He says, well, what did it look like? So the guy goes, no, I don't mean that. It's me. What did it look like before you hit it? The guy goes, okay, I got one more if you can stomach it. Okay, and it looks like things out of focus or what. I try to get it into focus. Focus. Okay. That's my wife there in the background. Oh, she brought things right into focus. She helps me a lot that way. She's sweet. She's a sweetie. A farmer up there had some plumbing problems, and he had a leak down in his basement, and he couldn't fix it, and so he called the plumber. Plumber come in, worked maybe half hour, 45 minutes, and had it fixed up good duck soup, and it just wouldn't. I might have to call my wife back in and get the thing back into focus. Look at that. Oop, there we go. Magic hands. And so after he fixed it, he charged the farmer $127. And the farmer's like, coughing. Sorry, that's a lot of money. Well, it's not the labor really. It's like because you have to make a house call. Really, he says, I had the doctor come out here and visit my wife just last week. She had the flu, couldn't get to the hospital. Doctor come out, he only charged $64 for the house call. Plumber says, yeah, that's all I could charge for a house call when I was a doctor. Oh, that's enough. Good night.